Episode of what's in the box and a bag. And I do these open box things just so you can kind of see some of the items we purchase for, you know, some of the projects we've got. You know, there's other brands, there's you know, a million different shapes and sizes of parts and brands and colors and all that. But this, we do this just to kind of show you what we bought from who, and maybe give you a chance at looking at it through a video sense, because some things, some items you see, all you can see is just a photo or something, you know. So we do this to be able to hold it up to the camera, let you look at it, let us put it on, and if we can ever get caught up, we're going to do a more in-depth, maybe a review of some of the stuff. But it's been so hectic with that rental that was so bad, and some of the other things I got going on. I've got 2 other rentals that, and then another one after that, I think. Got all that going on. So once we start getting a little more dialed in and a little more time after the rentals, usually the rentals are doing pretty good. Once they do good, they stay that way for a little while. And I might have one here and there versus 4 in a row. So once we get there, we may do some more in-depth. And we may not shoot as many videos a week and take a little more time and do some in-depth, slow down the pace, and do some in-depth installs and that type of stuff on some builds, because we do have some builds coming. I'm looking at a few projects right now. I actually decided to go ahead and sell the Del Sol. I talked to one of the twins tonight, Art and Ronnie, but Art, me and him got to talking, and I'm going to kind of move some of the projects out of my way. I got a lot of things piled up, and I want to thin out a little bit so I can take a little more time to break down some of the projects and what we're doing with them and that type of thing. So a little more product review, and that also will free up some time for us to go drifting. We want to go some places further off, not necessarily just the one weekend and right here, you know, super close to us. We want to go to some bigger tracks, some tracks you've probably heard of if you're into drifting and that type of thing. So we want to get a little further away from home, and so if we can, you know, get some of the finance cars finished and out, get them out of the garage, get the garage cleaned up, get a little more organized. You know, the shop's a mess every day now because I'm having a hard time getting here and cleaning it up and going back and forth to rentals and all that stuff. So, but yeah, either way, here we go. We're going to do another episode of What's in the Box. And again, this stuff is to just merely give you a display of, you know, another option of looking at it besides just on, you know, maybe a photo or something. This will give you, you know, spin it around, kind of see it in a person's hand, kind of dimensions and stuff. And again, maybe an in-depth review at some point. So what we've got here is the Subaru on the timing belt. Has on the top of it, on the actual crank, I think it is, it keeps it from jumping time. There's a little billet deal you can buy. I think they have a factory one on them. Well, when I had LJ take it apart, there's these, put it somewhere that I'm not sure where. I'm sure he's probably got somewhere it's sat specifically to just pick it up, put it back on, but I don't know where it's at. So I did go ahead and opt to get a billet one with new hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put that on, and we'll be ready. I got to torque the cam pulley, and after I do that, I think we're ready for the covers, I think. But I did go ahead and get some more stuff for that engine because I'm going to start trying to, like I say, get some of the finance cars. I need to get this one finished anyway. It's been sitting here in my way. I need to clean out the old EJ25 motor. It's sitting over there. I need to disassemble it, maybe try to figure out a few parts that I'm able to keep, and I cut the packaging, or the packing slip. There's an awful lot of box for that, but I think that's all. That's an awful lot of box for that. So now we're down to this box. It's packed well. Extremely well. Alright. Good Lord. It's gonna be one of those things where I keep unboxing for 10 minutes and it'll be something a little bit tiny deal. Okay, so the intake gaskets on the EJ25 motor, they my battery died, but either way, here we go. This right here is the design. See how thick they are? This is the design it came with. These are probably better, I really don't know that, but the way I know gaskets is, if I can find my pocket knife, is just a regular flat gasket like any, you know, intake gasket or head gasket or anything of that nature. And I'm thinking this is, I believe this is what's on it too. So instead of these kind of gaskets, which I guess that's where they go because they fit, I mean, they look right. I may be in the wrong place with these, I don't know, but that kit didn't have this type of gasket. And so this is the kind of gasket I wanted to put on the intake. So I went ahead and ordered these deals. So I would rather use this style. And it's just air intake, it's vacuum and all that stuff, you know, I get that. So as long as it seals pretty good, it should be okay. But I've never used these. And I'm already kind of leery about the torquing the head and all that stuff on this thing. So it's all new, and that's really the main thing. It's just the inexperience and you know, once you deal with certain things for, you know, a certain amount of time, you know, Hondas and stuff, everything that I've done, you know, I can go into a car, something to do with the Honda, pretty confident, you know what I mean? There's still things I run into or situations that, you know, some of the, you know, builds or something that somebody's wanting or try something different as far as some new brands and stuff. Some things fit a little different, but still pretty confident in, you know, building a motor of that nature. But when it comes to this Subaru, I really don't know, man. And I don't do a ton of mechanic work like I used to. I don't work it on, I mean, because there's days, you know, I would wake up and go to bed and the only thing in between would be working on a car. You know, just get a shower and eat, and other than that, it was all day, dark to dark kind of situation working on cars, and I did that for a long time. But not doing it as often, you know, raising kids and all that. Get kind of out of the groove, and so the things you remember, and it sounds crazy, but there's so much I forget, and the familiarity of, you know, just tightening stuff and getting your hand in certain places and loosening bolts and stuff. It just kind of changes, because there was a time when, you know, you felt confident and, you know, you change the engine out in a day and have one out and one in and driving it up the road. I'm not in that big a hurry anymore to get things done. So it takes a little longer, so I don't get as much wrench time as what I used to, plus the rentals and the drifting and all that. But so I'm assuming this is just different options. I don't know, if you're a Subaru guy, maybe include me in if this is one way to do it, or this is maybe a different year. Maybe this is, you know, there might be an intake that fits in like a, maybe some kind of slot or something. Then you just set, you know, maybe it sits in so far. I don't know. I've not seen them. This doesn't look like it would be as, I wouldn't be as confident using those as I would these. And so I had to get these, had to get this jewel, and again, this goes over the timing belt to keep it goes over the crank, the actual crank pulley, the gear behind the crank pulley. This sits in there, and it does have some bolts with it. and I'll actually, when I install it, I'll show you. But it does have some bolts, and they're recessed on this billet piece, and so it actually sits down inside there. And you can see it's going to be a flush mount, but this sits, and the cam gear goes, or not the cam gear, but the crank gear goes right here, and that keeps it from, if the belt does jump, it'll hit this, and it won't allow it to go over a tooth. It won't allow it to jump time, because this is down over the top of it. And so I guess when you hit the throttle, it goes straight to the crank, and the crank pulls the cams, you know, in to keep them in time or keep everything rotating. Well, if it was going to jump anywhere, it would be, theoretically, I would assume it's going to be that center gear right there. And so this is to protect from that. There looks like there was a factory one. I don't know where it's at. So I ordered a billet one. Looked cool. I've already tried it on. When my camera died, I kind of fooled with it a minute to look at it. I may put a little Loctite on it. I don't know. I'm going to research the torque and kind of get an idea of what it should torque down, but I think that, and just going back over the bolts, torquing the bolts, once I get those done, thermostat, and make sure the bolts are torqued, I think I'm ready for the covers. And this thing will be ready to set off the engine stand, pull the flex plate off the back, and change the rear seal. So, which I already have that. So, yeah, we're getting pretty close to getting ready. We need to get that car in and kind of get it prepped. I like to wash pressure wash engine bays and stuff before I reinstall. So what I'll do is I'll get it sat somewhere here close, and we will degrease and scrub and pressure wash the engine bays out before we put that motor in. So we're getting closer all the time on doing the Subaru. I already got people wanting to buy it, but also I've got some rentals that I'm trying to finish one over here. It's got a move a washer and dryer out, finish a vinyl floor. It's got to dry because it's got a water leak out of the fixture. And once I get that done, that shouldn't take long, maybe a day or two to let it dry and get everything changed out and reinstalled. Then got one over here we're working on electrical. I've got some guys over there. Willahan, I call him. He's over there tidying up some outlets and stuff. And Metzger, you'll hear all these crazy names, but Metzger he rents a smaller home behind it. He's moving up to the front, so he's gonna move up there, and they're trying to get it finished for them to move, and then that one he'll move out of will open. And so once it opens, then we've got to go in and clean and paint and get it prepped to re-rent. I always offer my existing renters, which Metzger's rented from me for like 6 years, but my existing renters, I give them dibs on, so if a house comes empty and it's, you know, hey, better situation, or if their job's changed or moved or anything, I give them the the option of moving to a different house if they want to. And I try to work with them on getting that done. I do usually offer them, if they'll help this or that, I'll, you know, won't be any deposits or anything on the new home as far as any of that. They already gave a deposit, but if they move out of one and I got to repaint it, but he's actually repainting this one before they move in because they want different colors. So we made a deal on that. And so the only one out of the two I'll have to repaint will be the one they're moving out of. So I feel that's fair. And he's helping us getting the electrical, a few wires changed out, and some, just going over some repairs, cosmetic, like a front door I think needs some stuff, and a couple other things. But anyway, once we get all that done, we'll get those guys moved, get this one rented, and we'll have that last one. If we get that knocked out and we're not making any moves on any rentals, I do have a downstairs on a duplex I've got that needs work, and I have a single wide trailer that needs some work finished. But they're projects we were working on and kind of just took a break from them. And so I may not go straight into one of those. I may come back here and start trying to turn some cars out just to get some cash flow, because I took a hit on that one that was so bad between missed rent and damages and expense on just everything. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna get those three knocked out, and I think I'm gonna come back here and we're gonna try to finish this one in the meantime. And we're gonna end up cleaning the shop up again, doing some work here, just kind of spring cleaning kind of thing, even though it's summer. But we need to re-clean a little bit and get a little more organized, get some stuff going out of here that we don't need. We got barrels of oil that was from the previous shops or whatever. Get some of that stuff done. Tons and tons and tons of stuff to do. So hang in there. I know some of it's boring, some of it's whatever, but we're gonna be drifting. We're gonna be doing car stuff. We're gonna, once we get more settled in, it's hard to keep up with the rentals and, you know, keep this going too, but we'll get there. All right, hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you will, like, subscribe. Yeah, we appreciate you watching the videos, guys. I really do. Sincerely, thank you guys for watching. I know some of them are boring. Some of them might be something you're interested in. Some of them are not. I get that because we're all over the place. But this is what I do. This is where we do it at. And it's been a long day. Alright, so I was going to show you real quick on the Subaru engine, the EJ25. This little deal goes right there. See how it sits? See those two bolt holes right above the crank there? And that just sits there, and you put a couple bolts, which, you know, obviously it's got to move and it don't actually lay on it, but it sits there close. And that'll keep that belt from popping up off, because this is a crank, and so when you hit the gas, it's the first thing to turn, and so it jolts everything, and so that won't allow it to kick off. So that's that piece and where it lives. Looks pretty solid, man. It's an eBay part, billet aluminum, come with its own hardware. I think that'll be just fine. Looks like it fits good. I hadn't put the bolts in it yet, but I wouldn't see no reason for it to not fit. So, all right, I had to put that out there that way if there was any question where that piece went, you could see. I'm feeling high.